Hello, welcome to the sunset. How cool is that? It hasn't been a very productive week. I've got a little bit of progress on a few things, but nothing spectacular. But not having anything spectacular has not stopped me from making a video before. So here we are. This has had its wet finish, and I'm assuming I'm in shot. Yes. So it's had its fringes twisted, and then it had a wash. So it's a little bit softer and a little bit drapier than it was when it came off the loom, which is often the case with weaving. It's sometimes a little bit stiff straight off the loom, and then you give it a wash and everything relaxes a bit. Can you see that? Am I in shot? I need like a big screen TV behind my camera with the viewfinder on it, which I'm probably not going to do, but it would be helpful. So that is done, and I think that is the first, last, and only time I will be using Lion Brand Scarfie. It's fine. It crochets up well because I had a bit left over. You know, last week when I said I had about 7 meters, apparently I was just being dramatic for effect because I did find another third of a ball. So I did actually have heaps, and it wasn't as dramatic as I was pretending it was. So I have crocheted with it a little bit, and it crochets okay. It weaves okay, but it's not sort of spectacular. And also 8,500 manufacturer's knots. So that's done, and I can put that to one side. Now, the little loom I have not finished, and that's been 3 weeks, but I can show you where I'm at because I have done some work on it, a little bit of work on it. Now, can I pick this up without everything going pear-shaped? Possibly. If I hold that, and then I put my hand there we go. So there is progress on this, but you can't really tell because it does look much the same as it did last time I showed it to you. This is the clasped weft. So this yarn, this fluffy yarn, which you might not be able to see is fluffy. Is it fluffing on the camera? I hope so. That's coming in from this ball on the side. I'm doing very well showing you things. And then I've got this yarn coming in from the other side to loop it together just to give a bit of an interesting effect. So it is coming along. It's quite slow because this is a fine yarn and that's quite a fine yarn. And apparently I've warped it up quite long, which is what I tend to be doing at the moment. So there is progress on this. It's just not very fast progress. But it will happen. It'll happen. Maybe. Now, on the big loom, I've got possibly, and I don't think this is too big a call to make, I think I've got possibly the worst warping up job I have done in a very long time. This isn't even well framed, let alone well warped. This is the middle of my heddle, and everything here is on the right. Now, this isn't off center because I messed up my maths. I didn't do any maths, and you can't mess up your maths if you don't do any. That's a pro tip for you. What happened was I realized while I was warping up that it was going to be one of those weird widths that I've been doing where it's not quite wide enough to be a wrap, but it's too wide to be a scarf. And I thought I don't want to weave another one of those weird widths. So I'll just stop when it's scarf width and have it off center. It is possible to move a warp that's very off center, to move it across a little bit. However, it's fiddly for one. And the other problem with doing that with this warp is that it is a clasped warp. So at the moment, it doesn't look particularly interesting, I grant you. So this end is this dusty orange, and then the other end of the warp, which you can't see because it's all wound around the back beam, is this yellowy coloured yarn. So I'm going to show you with some scrap yarn. I'm going to try not to hit my tripod, although I make no promises. I'm going to show you what a clasped warp looks like and why it's difficult to move. So with an ordinary weave, I'm going to put my scrap yarn there. With an ordinary weave, you take loops of your yarn down through the slots in the heddle. I'm pointing there like you can see exactly what I'm pointing at, and you cannot. The heddle's got holes and slots. So you take a loop of your yarn through the heddle, then you cut that loop at the end and move one thread from each slot into the hole next to it. With a clasped warp, let me just get this so that I can hold it properly. You bring your loop of yarn through the heddle, and then you take your other yarn, which I've prepared earlier and it's not behaving. You take your other yarn, which is over here, and you loop that through the loops so that it makes its own loop and it locks in the middle, or it would if I hadn't dropped it. There we go. And it locks in the middle like that. So moving a warp is possible. It's tricky. Moving a clasped warp is even trickier because you've got this yarn attached to the back beam, which is fine and secure, and this basically just becomes a load of loose yarn that can fall out. I have done it before. I don't want to do it again. It's going to be fine, probably. What I'm doing is, normally when you sit in front of the loom, you sit so that your body is in the middle of the loom to make sure that your fell line, which is this top line of weaving here, stays straight. What I'm doing in this case is centering myself in front of the weave, not in front of the loom. So it feels a little weird, but it's working. It's so far not too bad. So you might also be able to see that that is double threaded because of that loop method. You don't cut the loops or anything like that, and you keep the loops double threaded so that they all stay locked together. So yes, at the other end it is this orangey, no, it's not orangey, that's yellowy. Now these yarns, great question. This orangey one is Heirloom Merino Fleck, 8-ply in whatever colourway this is. And this yellowy one is Bendigo Woollen Mills Prism, which I don't think is discontinued, but I will double check. Prism in the colourway Zenith, which I just found, both of these just kicking around the stash. And it was, the plan was obviously to have it wider, but I didn't want to weave one of those middly sizes. I do want to do a proper wide wrap. I just need to dig out enough yarn to do that. But for the time being, this is my terrible warping job, which is going to work, probably. So Bertie Bird is coming along. Is that in shot? Yes. Is it in focus? Oh, who could say? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I've done the flowers down this side a little bit, and that's pretty much all. I haven't done a huge amount on Bertie this week. I am still chipping away at Bertie. I say chipping away like I'm not enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I just haven't been sitting down to do it. But Bertie is soldiering on, and Bertie will be finished at some point. The other thing I did this week was patch my jumper. If you're looking at my jumper and thinking, what a great jumper, first of all, you're correct. And as I wave my arms around, you may see that it's got some patches on it in various... Is there one under there? Yes, there's another one there. I don't know where this jumper came from. It turned up in my wardrobe, and I don't know who owns it. I don't know who left it in my wardrobe. I didn't buy it, but it is pure wool and therefore worth keeping and restoring. I'm not restoring it very well. Well, I am actually. I'm restoring it in a beautiful way, because I don't do invisible mending because I don't have the patience or the skill. Even if I had a perfect yarn colour match for this grey, I wouldn't be able to do it invisibly. My grandmother would have been able to do it invisibly. She could fix anything and you would never know that there'd ever been any damage. The woman was magic. I am not magic because I'm impatient. So what I'm doing instead, of course, is visible mending with my yarn scraps. That's quite an old one, and that's felted in the wash. So that's good. That hole is not going to get any bigger. So I've been adding some patches to my very good jumper. This is a new one. I'm showing you very elegantly. I'm always so classy. And this is a new one. There we go, nice yellow. So using up my yarn scraps with some visible mending, I've got a lot more holes to do. There's heaps in that arm that I've just never touched. So that is another ongoing project that I'm hoping to catch up with, because it's something I've been meaning to do for a long time, and that is use up more of my yarn scraps and fix some of these holes in this very good jumper, which is very warm and very cozy. Speaking of yarn, do you know how I said I wasn't buying yarn? Well, I meant it. I did mean it. But then I saw some yarn and I had to buy it. And when you see it, you will say, absolutely understandable, I would have done the same thing, because, you know, we agree on these things, yes? Look at the size of it. It's ridiculous. I've got loads. I've got 6 balls. I've got 2 balls of each colour. So I've got a lemon yellow, which does actually look like a lemon. I've got an ochre yellow, and I've got a red. Now this is super bulky or super chunky, and I'm going to try and get a finger in behind it so that you can see. There we go. So it's very thick. And if I was to crochet with this, I would need a 25mm hook, which is a big hook. I'm not going to crochet with it. I am going to weave with it. Beyond that, I haven't planned anything. But I am going to weave with it, and it's going to be fun. I wonder if I could use it for war. Anyway, I will ponder, and while I'm pondering, I will finish this video. Thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself. Have a lovely rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.